So the Portland Trail Blazers sit at the 8th seed in the Western Conference. They are 4-6 in their last 10 games, and they kind of fell off a cliff the moment that I said they were really good, so I'm sorry, Blazers fans. And I think this team is in an awkward position. It's one that they've been in for a couple of seasons now, so I'm not going to be saying anything new, but I do think the Damian Lillard, CJ McCollum situation is pretty interesting given how much time is left in their contracts. And with Evan Turner and Mo Harkless, you have two guys who have been good for this team as they have been at their best when these two are in the game. But these two are also a bit overpaid for what they're giving you, especially Evan Turner. You could talk yourself into Mo Harkless, but he may also be your best trade asset if you really wanted to shake this team up and try for something a little different. As for what the Blazers should actually do, I mean, one name that has been out there is Otto Porter. Whether the Wizards would want to move him or not, I don't know. You also have a trade asset in Zach Collins. I understand wanting to keep Collins because he is, he seems like he's got potential at the 5 spot. He seems like he can be a good modern-day center who can defend on the perimeter, as well as have some offensive chops. So I don't know what the Blazers should do. I'm not saying who they should not trade or whatever, but right now the team is swamped with salary, and they're a mid-tier team in the Western Conference, and they got to break out of that at some point. Next, we have the New Orleans Pelicans. We all know the Anthony Davis situation. They are going to offer him the Supermax, I believe, this offseason, and depending on whether he signs that, rejects it, whatever it may be, the entire league is going to take notice. I mean, the entire league has been keeping their eyes on this situation for the past few years, so it would make sense for the Pelicans to want to be as good as possible right now. And I think a move that could allow Drew Holiday to play full-time shooting guard may be the ideal thing for them, and I don't even think you have to get a big-time point guard. I think someone like Corey Joseph on the Indiana Pacers could make an impact for them. He's been one of the more underrated players the past couple of seasons, and we've seen that just with decent points, the Pelicans have been really good. I mean, Elfrid Payton was playing well for them, but now he's going to be injured for a little while. But the Pels don't have that kind of time because Anthony Davis's clock is ticking pretty damn fast for them. Next up, we have a similar situation with the Charlotte Hornets and Kemba Walker. I have talked about this one a bit, so I'll attempt to say things that I haven't said before. We all know how good Kemba has been this year. He could even be up for the Supermax as well, depending on where he ends up if he finishes in one of the All-NBA teams. But he also has his contract coming to an end pretty quickly here. A million things have been said about Bradley Beal already. I want to present the idea of Kevin Love, because when you look at this Hornets team, they don't have a real number 2 option next to Kemba Walker. And Kevin Love has had some injuries, and his contract is not beautiful towards the end, so that's something you'd have to have a conversation about. But I think someone like Nicholas Batum and then some sort of draft compensation for the Cavaliers could be enough to make that move work. And assuming that Kevin Love is healthy, then I think he could give Charlotte some pretty good stuff. But maybe the Hornets would want to go for more of a defensive kind of guy. I think Dwayne Dedmon is still out there, and I think a rotation of him and Cody Zeller could be pretty damn good at the center position. He's making about $7 million a year for only one season with the Hawks, so I don't think he would be too difficult to acquire. And I don't even think you'd have to give up as much as if you were going to trade for Kevin Love. And Dedmon, look, he's one of the better rim protectors and defensive centers in the league. I think he could run a pretty damn good pick and roll with Kemba Walker as well, as Dedmon has been among the better rollers to the rim in the league. He's decently athletic, and he just knows what he's doing around the rim. He's one of the more underrated players in the NBA, if you ask me. Finally, the Houston Rockets, who just really need something to get them going this year. We all know about the 4 first-round picks that they offered for Jimmy Butler. I mean, the funny thing right now is, like, this team is so disappointing that trading their first-round picks shouldn't even be a sure thing because they're a lottery team at the moment. But even so, Brandon Knight and his $15 million could allow you to trade for somebody like Courtney Lee if you did attach some pick, whether it's got protections, whether it's a future pick, whatever. The Rockets need two-way wings, and Courtney Lee is out there. He has finally gotten some playing time with the Knicks, and I think he could just fit in really well with what Houston wants. There is also DeMarre Carroll in Brooklyn, and he actually hasn't looked great this season, definitely not as good as he was last year, but he did have a nice shooting night not long ago, and perhaps that can be the thing that turns his season around. Here's one that's a little out of the dark, Justin Holiday of the Chicago Bulls. He's very affordable, and he is one of the best three-point shooters in the league this year. His defense is not totally what Houston would want, but you may just have to take what you can actually get, because they desperately just need another decent wing player. Think of it like this. Holiday is definitely better than J.R. Smith, okay? So, that's the last one. The Rockets, they've been a disappointment, and they need something to shake it up, or else they could be in for a pretty rough season.